Olivia, wake up! My phone alarm screamed at me. I slammed it off and stretched, smiling. Tay felt perfect. I called Ethan. Morning, handsome. Morning, Liv, he said, voice warm. Big day tonight. Don't be late. I laughed. Big day. What's happening? You'll see. His tone was teasing. Wear something blue. You know why? Blue? My heart fluttered. Ethan, are you not saying a word? 7 p.m., the Marlowe. The Marlowe. My jaw dropped. That's the most expensive restaurant in the city. Exactly, he chuckled. See, you tonight, baby. I hung up, clutching my pillow. Tonight, this had to be it. He was going to propose at work. I almost floated past my desk. Chloe was already there, sipping her latte. You're glowing, she said, arching a brow. I grinned. Big dinner tonight? Oh, she tilted her head with Ethan. Course with Ethan. I laughed. He booked the Marlowe. Her lips twitched. Wow. Fancy. You think he might propose? She shrugged lightly, looking down. At her phone, maybe? He's full of surprises. Chloe, come on. I nudged her. What do you know? She smiled, small and strange. Nothing. Just don't get your hopes too high. The words stung, but I brushed it off. Shh, didn't mean it like that? She couldn't. All day, I rehearsed in my head. What if he really asked me? What would I say? God, what a stupid question. Course I'd say yes at 6. I slipped into my favorite blue dress, the one Ethan loved. I curled my hair, added lipstick, and stared at myself. Perfect. As I drove to the Marlowe, my chest felt like it might burst. Every red light tortured me. When I finally reached the place, I checked my reflection one last time, then stepped inside. Reservation for Ethan. I told the hostess. Of course, ma'am, she said, leading me in. It's already here. Already here. My heart thudded. Maybe he had the ring box out already. I turned the corner and froze. Ethan sat at a corner table laughing. With Chloe Dot, her hand rested on his. His thumb traced her fingers like it belonged there. My breath vanished. I blinked, hoping I was imagining things. He lifted her hand and kissed her knuckles. My stomach flipped. My pulse roared in my ears. They didn't see me. They were lost in each other. I stepped back slowly, my heels clicking too loud on the marble floor. I pressed against the wall, heart pounding. Ethan, Chloe whispered, her voice low, playful. He chuckled. Stop. Someone might hear. Hearing his voice like that, like he used to sound with, made me sick. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the table over and drag her by her perfect hair. But I couldn't move. Instead, I listened. You think she suspects? Chloe asked softly. No, Ethan said, smiling. She's clueless. Tonight she'll never see it coming. Never see it coming. My knees buckled. What did that even mean? Chloe giggled. You're awful. Awfully in love with you, he said, and then he kissed her. On the lips, right there. In front of everyone, I clapped a hand over my mouth. I couldn't breathe. My world cracked like glass. The hostess passed by, smiling politely. Would you like to be seated now, ma'am? I shook my head, forcing a smile. Change of plans, thank you. Somehow, I walked out. My heels clicked against the floor like gunshots, but no one turned. Rain hit my face the second I stepped. Outside, cold, sharp, almost punishing. I gripped the steering wheel, shaking so hard I could barely turn the key. The phone buzzed in my bag. I pulled it out with trembling hands. Ethan, can't wait to see you tonight. Babe, a sob escaped my throat. My hands clenched until my nails bit my palm. Then the phone lit up again. Chloe's name. I stared at it, heart thudding so loud it drowned the rain. Her voice when I answered was sweet. Hey, Liv, you on your way? I swallowed hard. Yeah, I said softly. On my way, she giggled. Cool, can't wait. Love you, girl. The call ended. I dropped the phone on the passenger seat and pressed my forehead to the steering wheel. My breath came out in jagged pieces. My chest felt like it was tearing open. I whispered to myself, voice cracking, "You promised me forever." Then, like a knife to the heart, I saw it again in my head. I stood there invisible. Asterisk, my hand gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. The rain blurred everything outside, but not enough to erase what I'd seen. Ethan's laugh, Chloe's smile, his lips on hers. I slammed my fist on the wheel. Why, Ethan? My voice cracked, barely a whisper under the roar of the storm. The phone buzzed again. Another text from him. Ethan. Running late? Hope you're still coming. Can't wait to see you tonight. Babe, I stared at the screen until my vision swam and trembled as I typed back. Me on my way. I hit send. Then I laughed. A sound. So broken, it scared me. The phone rang suddenly. I jumped. Chloe's name lit up the screen. I let it ring. The rain hammered harder, like the world was cheering for my heartbreak. I wiped my cheeks, not sure if it was rain or tears. I whispered, "You can't break me." But my voice shook like a lie. I started the car and drove. Not home, not anywhere, just away. My mind screamed, but my lips stayed sealed. If I opened my mouth, the whole city would hear. Finally, I pulled over by the park. Empty benches, soaked flowers. My safe place now, just another cage. I answered the phone this time, live. Chloe's voice bubbled with fake cheer. "Where are you?" "Still on for brunch tomorrow." "Brunch tomorrow." After kissing my fiancé tonight, I forced a breath. "Yeah, tomorrow? You okay? You sound off?" "It's just tired." I lied. "Long day." She giggled. "You won't believe how mine went. Try me." My tone was flat. "Oh, she trailed off like a cat playing with a dying mouse. Busy. Crazy busy, right?" My nails dug into my palm. "See you tomorrow, Chloe. Love you, girl." The words stabbed deeper than any knife. I hung up before I could scream. My phone slipped from my hands and hit the floor. My breath came out in ragged gasps. Images of them together flashed in my head, her lipstick on his mouth, his fingers tangled in her hair. I pressed my forehead to the steering wheel and whispered, "Stop. Please, stop." But the thoughts didn't stop. I started the car again and drove home. Every traffic light felt like a punishment. By the time I parked, my chest burned like fire. The apartment was dark, silent, empty. Just like me, I kicked off my heels and sank to the floor by the door. The tears came then, hot and fast. I hugged my knees and rocked like a child, but it didn't soothe me. Nothing could. My phone lit up again. Ethan, where are you?" "I'm waiting." "Waiting for what?" Another kiss before dessert. I grabbed the phone and hurled it across the room. It hit the wall with a sharp crack. The sound echoed through the apartment like a gunshot. I crawled toward it, my hands shaking. The screen was cracked, but it still worked. Another message blinked. "Ethan, I love you. Live always." Always. My stomach turned. I wanted to call him, scream at him, demand answers. But I did in single quotes instead. I sat there in the dark, staring at the cracks on the screen, cracks that looked exactly like me. I whispered, "Why, Ethan?" No answer. Just the rain pounding against the windows. Minutes. Hours. I don't know how long passed before the silence shattered again. The phone rang. I picked it up slowly. My breath hitched. Chloe's name flashed on the screen. The phone buzzed again. Chloe's name? I stared at it for 3 rings before answering. "Hey, Liv." Her voice was sugar. "You okay? You sound weird." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Weird. No, just tired. Long day." "Yeah," I whispered. "Long night, too." She giggled softly. "Girl, tell me about it. I'm still exhausted from last night." My fingers clenched the phone so tight I thought it might crack. "Last night? Work, right?" Hum," she hummed. "You know how these things go? Deadlines, clients, staying late enough to need company." I said, slow, testing. Silence, just for a breath. Then light laughter. What do you mean? I forced a smile into my tone. Nothing. Just curious. Oh, Liv, you worry too much. Her voice softened like butter melting. You and Ethan are rock solid. Rock solid. The words almost made me choke. You think so? I said, I know so. He adores you. He told you that. Another pause. Quick. Careful. He talks about you. Of course. I bit my lip so hard I tasted blood. Good to know. So she chirped. We're still on for brunch tomorrow. Same place. Same place. I murmured. Perfect. Love you. Liv. Love you too. I lied and hung up before the bile rose any higher. The silence hit like a slap. My hands shook. My chest burned. I stood up, grabbed the nearest glass, and hurled it at the wall. Shattered. Sharp pieces raining like glitter. On the floor, the sound barely scratched the rage inside me. I sank onto the couch, head in my hands. My breath came in jagged waves. Memories crashed over me. Nights Chloe and I stayed up laughing. It's great. Whispered over wine, me crying on her. Shoulder about Ethan's business trips. She was there. I whispered into the empty room. The whole time she was there. The betrayal clawed at me like fire under my skin. The phone rang again. Ethan. I stared at his name until it blurred, then swiped to answer. Baby, said voice low, sweet, like nothing had changed. I'm so sorry. Tonight was a mess. Mess. My tone was ice. I had to stay late. The meeting ran over. I should have called. Forgive me. I almost laughed. Forgive you? Yeah, he sighed. I hate when you're upset with me, do you? My words were knives now. Of course I do. You're my everything. Everything. The same lips that kissed her. I pressed the phone to my ears so he wouldn't hear my breath shaking. I thought you said you were tired, I murmured. Huh. Never. Mind. Liv. Talk to me. What's going on? My tongue burned with the truth. I saw you. I saw her. I saw everything. But I swallowed it down. Not yet. I'm fine, I said, voice flat. You don't sound fine. Just tired. Then sleep. I'll make it up to you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I repeated, like the word was poison. Yeah, big day. Sure, I said, and hung up before the scream could tear out of me. The phone slipped from my hand and hit the carpet. I stared at the ceiling, my chest hollow, my veins buzzing with rage. They thought I didn't. No, they thought I was stupid. I sat up slowly, wiping my face with the back of my hand. My reflection in the dark window looked like a stranger cold eyes, red cheeks, lips pressed tight. I whispered to her. To myself, if they want to play games, my. Breath fogged the glass as I leaned closer. I'll be the last move they ever make. Asterisk, hey stranger. Chloe's voice was warm, sugar sweet, like it always had been. She slid into the booth across from me, her perfume clouding the air. It's been forever. Yeah, I said, forcing a smile. My fingers wrapped around the coffee cup like it was the only thing holding me together. Busy week. Tell me about it. She laughed, tucking a strand of perfect blonde hair behind her ear. Work's been insane. You know how it is. Sure, I murmured, keeping my tone casual. Inside, my chest burned. I watched her order pancakes and orange juice, the same thing she always did. Like we were still best friends and the world hadn't shattered under my feet. She looked flawless, faultless. Makeup, soft waves, that bright smile that could fool anyone. Anyone but me. So I said, lifting my cup to my lips, seen Ethan lately? Chloe's fork paused midair, just for a second. Then she laughed, light and airy. Ethan, of course. He's your boyfriend, right? Why wouldn't I? Yeah. I set the cup down slowly, my nails pressing into the ceramic. Just wondering. You're lucky, you know. She speared a strawberry, twirling it in the syrup. Guys like him, they don't come around often. Lucky, I echoed, smiling tightly. Right. She didn't notice the way my leg bounced under the table. Or maybe she did, and she didn't care. Her voice flowed on, sweet and sharp, cutting me with every word about love and trust and honesty. Then it happened. Jay said she stopped herself, froze, then smiled too wide. I mean, Ethan. Ethan said he's been working late. Poor guy. My breath hitched. Jay, I repeated softly, tilting my head. Who's Jay? She blinked, cheeks flushing pink. Oh, just someone at work. I've mixed up names. You know me? Always scatterbrained, right? I whispered, lips curling into a smile that didn't touch my eyes. You always were. Her laugh was brittle now, breaking at the edges. She dropped her gaze to the plate, cutting pancakes like they'd done something wrong. I sipped my coffee, tasting bitterness thick on my tongue. I should get going. I said after a while, sliding out of the booth. Lots to do. So soon. Her voice was sharp with something panic. Maybe. We never see each other anymore. I know. I bent down and kissed her cheek lightly. We'll fix that. I walked out without looking back. If I did, I might have shattered the entire cafe at home. The walls felt smaller. I tossed my purse on the couch, pacing like a storm trapped in a room. Her words replayed in my head. Jay said Jay. Not Ethan Jay. A knock at the door snapped me out of it. Come in, I called. My voice hoarse. Daniel stepped inside, shutting the door behind him. His eyes swept over Memi's pale face, my shaking hands. What happened? Nothing, I whispered. He raised a brow. Don't lie. I sank onto the couch, burying my face in my hands. It's Chloe, I choked out. Sheesh, sleeping with him, with Ethan. Daniel froze, then lowered himself beside me. Are you sure? Called him Jay, I spat, lifting my head. Like some private joke. Like they're so close they don't need real names anymore. His jaw tightened. And you, I smiled. My laugh cracked, like an idiot, like I didn't hear her slip. Daniel's hand touched mine. What do you want to do? Stared at him, heart pounding so loud it drowned out everything else. I don't know. Yes, you do, he said softly. His eyes burned, steady, unshaken. Do you want me to destroy him, or will you? I stood outside his door, my chest pounding like it wanted out. My fingers trembled as I reached for the knob. It turned without resistance. Unlocked, Ethan. My voice barely left my throat. No answer. Then laughter. A soft giggle that didn't belong to me. Chloe's voice stopped my stomach twisted. I stepped inside, closing the door slowly behind me. My heels pressed against something in his jacket. I looked down. Clothes were everywhere, scattered like they'd been torn off in a rush. My knees wobbled. My breath caught like a trapped bird. Ethan's voice floated from the bedroom. She'll never know. She better not, Chloe whispered, laughing again. The sound sliced through me. I walked forward, each step heavier than the last. My pulse roared in my ears. I stopped at the doorway. The sheet moved and Chloe's face peeked out, glowing with sweat and sin. For a second, I froze. My brain refused to process, then rage hit me like fire. My hand grabbed the nearest thing, a glass vase. I didn't think. I smashed it against the floor. The sound exploded like a gunshot. They both jumped. Ethan scrambled, naked, tripping over the sheet. Chloe clutched it to her chest, eyes wide. What the hell? Ethan stuttered. I stared. My lips wouldn't move. My throat burned. Baby weight, he reached for me. Don't, I hissed, stepping back. Don't touch me. It's not what? My voice cracked. Not what it looks like. Really? You want to say that? Swallowed, words tangling. Please, listen to me. Listen. I laughed, sharp and hollow. I heard. Everything. It's a mistake. It meant nothing. Nothing. I pointed at Chloe, who shrank under the sheet like a coward. That's nothing, please, he begged, tears forming. I love you. Love. My hands shook. You don't love me. You love this. The lying, the thrill, the betrayal. It's not like that. Then tell me, Ethan. I stepped closer, my voice like ice. When? How long? He looked down, silent. How long? I screamed. A few weeks, he muttered, barely audible. The words ripped through me. My legs almost gave out. Chloe spoke, voice trembling. I didn't mean shut up. I snapped, my eyes burning holes into her. You don't get to speak. She hid her face. Coward. Ethan moved toward me again, desperate. We can fix this, please. Fix. I whispered, laughing bitterly. You think this can be fixed? He reached for my hand. I yanked it away like his touch burned. You. Just my chest heaved. Tears blurred everything. You just killed the last part of me that loved you. Asterisk. I stared at the wall, my phone buzzing again. Ethan's name lit up the screen like a bad joke. I didn't move. Pick it up, I muttered. Under my breath, pick it up and scream. But I didn't. I let it ring until it died. The buzzing returned a second later. Chloe, this time, I opened the message. It just happened. Please, let's talk. Talk. My fingers twitched. Talk. After you tore me open, I hurled the phone onto the couch. It bounced and hit the floor with a dull thud. I hadn't eaten in 2 days. I hadn't slept in 3. Every corner of my apartment whispered their names. The couch they'd sat there once, laughing. The kitchen, they'd stolen wine together. My head felt like a hive of bees. Another vibration. I ignored it. Then a knock. Sharp, 3 times. I froze. Open up, Alex. It's Claire. Claire work. The only person who still thought I was human. I dragged myself to the door and opened it. She looked at me, eyes widening. God, she whispered, stepping inside. You look. Don't say it, I croaked. She closed the door behind her. You haven't been in for a week. I called, texted nothing, so I came. I'm fine, I lied. You're lying. She studied me, arms crossed. Talk. I laughed. It sounded like glass breaking. Talk. Everyone wants to talk. Alex, her voice softened. What happened? I stared at her for a long time, then sat on the couch. She sat beside me, waiting. I said finally. The word felt like poison. Chloe? Ethan? Her eyes narrowed. What about them? I laughed again, bitter this time. They happened to me. She didn't move. Listened. They were my throat tightened. I found them together. Her jaw clenched. Those bastards. I pressed my palms into my eyes. Chloe said it just happened. It's like tripping over a rug and landing in his arms. Claire was quiet for a moment. Then, softly, you loved her. Loved. I looked up, tears burning. I gave her everything. I cooked. I cared. My voice broke. And Ethan, he was my brother in all but blood. Claire's eyes glinted. And now, I swallowed hard. Now I want to burn the world. Don't, she said quickly. Don't burn yourself with it. I met her gaze. What am I supposed to do? Pretend this didn't happen? Go back to work like I'm not bleeding inside? She leaned closer. No, but you have 2 choices, Alex. Ruin them or rise above them. I stared at her. Rise above? Yes, you can drown in hate. Or you can make them regret it without destroying yourself. Her words sank like stones. For a second, silence. Wrapped us, ruin them without jail time, I murmured. Claire tilted her head. What do you mean? I stood, pacing. They want to play house. Fine, let them. But peace. No, if they took my heart, I'll take their peace. Alex, they made me nothing. I cut in. I'll make them feel smaller than shadows. Chest burned. Images flooded my mind. Chloe in a white dress, Ethan smirking. I imagined walking into their wedding with a smile sharp enough to cut. Claire rose slowly. Just don't lose yourself. I looked at her, voice steady now. I already did. Now I'm taking something back. She hesitated. What's your plan? I smiled for the first time in days. It felt wrong. It felt perfect. You'll see, I said, grabbing my phone. Ethan had texted again. Please answer. Not tonight. Tonight I planned. If they thought betrayal was the end of me, they'd learn the truth soon. Because if they took my heart, I'll take their peace. Asterisk. I stared at the invitation for the 100th time, my phone glowing in the dark. Let's talk things out at the party. It'll be good for both of us. Ethan, always so polite when he's guilty. I typed back, me, sure, I'll be there. Then I slipped the red dress from the hanger. The music hit me the moment I walked in. Laughter, glass clinking. Perfume mixed with lies. I caught a few heads turning as I stepped inside, the satin hugging me like molten fire. I smiled, slow, dangerous. Wow. Someone whispered behind me. She came. Of course I did. Then I saw him. Ethan, by the bar, navy suit, fake charm. And next to him Chloe, her hand wrapped around his arm like she owned him. She looked like a porcelain doll, a very breakable one. I walked up, heels slicing through the chatter. Ethan, I said, voice sweet as poisoned honey. His eyes widened. You look incredible. Thank you. I tilted my head at Chloe. And you must be Chloe, the famous best friend. Chloe blinked. We've met before. Oh, right. I smiled. Hard to remember faces these days, so many surprises. Ethan cleared his throat. Drinks. Let's get you something, no need. I grabbed a champagne flute from a passing tray. I'm already having fun. Her grip on his arm tightened. I noticed. Everyone noticed. So I said, swirling the drink, this is the party to fix things. Interesting approach. Ethan forced a laugh. I just wanted us to be civil. Civil, I repeated, letting the word linger. Like polite strangers. Exactly. His smile twitched. How sweet. Chloe shifted, eyes darting between. Us. You to look close, I said. She flushed. We're just friends. Oh, of course. Just friends. That's what everyone says before the truth shows up. Ethan coughed. Maybe we should talk privately. Oh no, I raised my glass. Let's toast first. To true love. My voice cut through the music. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. Every eye locked on us. To true love, I repeated louder. The kind that survives secrets and betrayal. Whispers buzzed like bees. Chloe's smile froze. Ethan's jaw clenched. Cheers! I clinked my glass against theirs. Chloe barely touched hers. Are you trying to embarrass me? Ethan hissed under his breath. Embarrass you? I laughed softly. Honey, I'm just celebrating honesty. You remember what that is, right? Stop, he muttered. This isn't the place. Exactly, I said, stepping back toward the stage. But tonight, masks don't belong. I snapped my fingers at the DJ. He frowned, then nodded. The music cut, the lights dimmed. A giant screen behind me flickered on. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, my voice calm, clear. Tonight's party deserves a show. Here's a highlight reel. Ethan and Chloe, last week. Enjoy. Gasps erupted as the first image appeared. Ethan, laughing, arm around Chloe at some cozy cafe. The next, this hand brushing her cheek. Another her, kissing his jaw, his lips dangerously close. Oh my God, someone whispered. Wasn't she his girlfriend? Another voice said. Chloe's face drained of color. Ethan, he stumbled forward. This isn't what it looks like. I smiled. Oh, then what does it look like? Because to me, it looks like a fairy tale ending for someone. This is low, he spat. Low. I arched a brow. Lower than sneaking around behind my back. Lower than lying every day. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. My voice was ice. You wanted me blind. You thought I'd never find out? But here we are. Chloe's lips trembled. I didn't. I never meant to save it. I cut in. You knew exactly what you were doing. Both of you did. The whispers grew louder. Phones out. People filming. Ethan grabbed my arm. We can talk about this later. Let go, I said softly. Deadly. Before you make it worse. You think this makes you strong? His voice cracked, humiliating me. No, Ethan, I whispered, leaning close so only he heard. This makes me free. I pulled back, turned to the crowd, and smiled a slow, wicked curve that tasted like victory. Thank you all, I said sweetly, for being such a lovely audience. Then I walked away, heels clicking like gunshots against marble, each step a bullet. Behind me, chaos bloomed. She planned this, someone said. No, waited, you see his face. Chloe's crying. It's good. I didn't look back. Not once. The night air hit me like a blade as I pushed through the doors, my laughter swallowed by the dark. And then, in the silence between heartbeats, I thought that night the empire of lies began to crumble. Asterisk, I heard the news before I even opened my phone. My colleague sent me a message. Check the headlines. I scrolled through and there it was. Ethan's company had pulled him from the deal, the biggest one of his career. A scandal. Its name everywhere. I didn't need to lift a finger. Karma worked faster than I ever could. Then another notification. Chloe, fired. Her company didn't want the drama. I stared at her smiling face in the article photo and almost laughed almost hours later. My doorbell rang. Loud, desperate. I opened it. Ethan stood there, shirt untucked, hair a mess, eyes red like he hadn't slept in days. He smelled like whiskey and bad decisions. Please, he said, voice breaking, please let me in. I didn't move. Why? He stepped inside. Without waiting, because I need you. I folded my arms. Do you need me now? He staggered toward the couch, collapsed into it. His hands shook as he rubbed his face. I made a mistake. A stupid, unforgivable mistake. I leaned against the wall, you think? He looked up, tears running down his cheeks. She meant nothing, Chloe. She was nothing. You're everything. You always were. I laughed. The sound startled even me. Sharp, hollow, everything. Ethan, you broke me. I was drunk. I know. I cut him off. Don't you dare blame alcohol. You didn't trip and fall into her bed. She chose this. He covered his face. Hate myself. Good, I said coldly. He dropped his hands, eyes wild. Please just give me one more chance. I'll fix everything. I'll make it right. You can't, I whispered. I can, he pleaded. I'll quit my job, move anywhere you want. I'll never even look at her again. I shook my head. Slowly, you think this is about her? It's not. It's about you and me. About the way you made me feel like I wasn't enough. You are enough, he choked out. You're more than enough. I was stupid. I walked closer, just enough to see his broken face. Ethan, I loved you more than my own soul. He sobbed harder. And you killed that love with your own hands. He slid off the couch and fell to his knees. His hands clutched at my legs, shaking. Don't leave me. Please, please don't. For a second, I almost felt pity. Almost get up, I said, voice flat. I can't lose you. He whispered. You already did. His head dropped against my knees. The sound of his crying filled the room, raw and ugly. My phone buzzed on. The table? I reached for it, glanced at the screen. Chloe calling. I answered, what do you want? Her voice was shaky. You need to hear this. What? I snapped. She swallowed audibly. He told me something, and you're not going to like it. A cold shiver ran through me. What did he say? There was a pause. Then Chloe spoke, and her words froze my blood. I waited at the cafe, watching the door. Chloe walked in 5 minutes late, hair messy, eyes hollow. She sat across from me without a word. You wanted to talk? I asked, my voice calm. Her lips trembled. Ethan, he's not picking up my calls. He's avoiding me. I sipped my coffee. Not my problem. Tears welled in her eyes. Don't say that. I'm pregnant. I laughed, loud, bitter. Pregnant. Nice try. You think that'll make me care? I'm serious, she whispered. I need you to believe me. Believe you? I leaned forward. After all your lies, why should I? She grabbed my hand, desperate. Because I'm scared. I can't do this alone. Pulled my hand. Back. You made your choice, Chloe. You chose him. Her voice cracked. I thought he loved me. And I thought you were my friend. She flinched like I slapped her. Please don't hate me. Hate you. I shook my head. No, you're not worth that anymore. She stared at me, silent. For the first time, I saw her not. The girl I once knew. Not the one I trusted, but a stranger wearing her face. Do you love him? I asked quietly. Her lips parted, no words came out. That's what I thought. I stood up. This is the last time we meet. Her voice broke. So that's it. After everything. It's after everything, I repeated. She reached out, but I stepped back. Goodbye, Chloe. I walked out without looking back. The sun hit my face, warm but empty. I should have felt relief, victory, something, but I felt nothing. Revenge didn't heal me. Never would. By the time I got home, my decision was clear. I opened my phone, blocked them both. No hesitation. Then I booked a one-way ticket to Paris. I stared at the confirmation email and smiled for the first time in months. Not because I won, but because I let go. At the airport, I watched people hug and cry, their goodbyes heavy with love. Mine was silent, invisible. On the plane, I closed my eyes as the engines roared. I lost them. I whispered to myself, but I found me. City lights glittered below like scattered stars, and for the first time, felt free. He promised me forever, but I gave myself eternity.